Hey everyone, let's talk about something that's on almost every student's mind, your GPA, that one little number. We're going to break down exactly what it is, how you can figure it out for yourself, and most importantly, give you a real, actionable playbook on how to improve it.
So let's just get right to it with the big question. Is your GPA just a number? I mean, for a lot of us, it can feel like this final judgment on how smart we are or how hard we're working. But what if we decided to look at it differently? What if it's not a judgment at all, but more like a guide? Okay, so let's really dive in here. The way to think about your GPA is that it's not just some static number on a piece of paper. It's a narrative. It's telling a story about your academic journey, right? It shows your strengths, maybe some of the classes you've struggled with, and the progress you're making along the way. And you know what the best part of a story is? You're the author. You get to write the next chapter.
So what is it, technically speaking? Well, your GPA, or grade point average, is really just the standard way schools measure your academic achievement. And it's a pretty key metric, you know? It's used for everything from qualifying for scholarships, to staying in good academic standing, to applying for grad school, or even your first job. So understanding how it works is really the first step to taking control of it.
All right, now for the really practical part, turning all those A's, B's, and C's into actual logic. And, calculating your own GPA it's really empowering. Something powerful happens when you do this yourself. It takes this number that might be causing you a lot of anxiety, and it turns it from this mysterious label into a tool that you can actually understand and control.
And honestly, it's a super simple 5-step process. First, you just convert each letter grade into its number value on that standard 4.0 scale. Easy. Then, for each class, you multiply that grade value by the number of credit hours. That gives you what we call quality points. Then you just add up all your quality points, add up all your credit hours, and for the final step, you divide the total points by the total hours. That's it. That's your GPA. Just some simple math that puts you in the driver's seat.
And check this out. This chart shows you exactly how it all comes together. Look at Biology 101. Getting an A in a heavy 4-credit course that gives you a whopping 16 quality points. Now, compare that to History 150. A solid B in a 3-credit course gets you 9 points. You see the difference? This is so crucial. Both the grade and the weight of the course matter a ton. So you add it all up, 56.8 quality points divided by 17 credit hours, and boom, you've got a 3.34 GPA for the semester.
Okay, so we know what it is, we know how to calculate it. Now, let's get to the main event, the playbook. This is your GPA improvement playbook with 10 real strategies for success that you can literally start using today to take control of your academic story.
We've broken this playbook down into 3 parts to make it super simple. And part 1 is all about what you can do inside the classroom. Think of this as your first line of offense.
Now this stuff might seem super basic, but trust me, it's the foundation for everything else. Just showing up consistently keeps you in the loop. But just as important is actually talking to your professors. And here's a pro tip. Don't wait until you're in trouble to go to office hours. Go in the first couple of weeks of the semester just to introduce yourself. It shows you're serious, it builds a real relationship, and it makes it so much easier to ask for help when you actually need it.
All right, what you do in class is only half the battle, right? So part 2 is all about what happens outside the classroom. We're talking about developing smart study habits.
The big theme here is working smarter, not just harder. Passively reading your textbook over and over again, it's just not that effective. Active learning techniques are where it's at. And that point about study groups, that's huge. The absolute fastest way to find out if you really get a concept is to try and teach it to somebody else. It's a total game changer. And please, don't just toss your graded work in a drawer. Look at it. That feedback is basically a free roadmap for how to do better next time.
And finally, let's talk about part 3 of the playbook. And honestly, this might be the most important one of all. It's about recognizing that you do not have to do this alone. It's all about using your support system.
Look, your campus has things like tutoring and writing centers for a reason. They aren't signs of weakness, they are tools for success that are there for you. But support isn't just academic. Seriously, your sleep, what you eat, your mental health, all of that is absolutely critical for your brain to work at its best. And think about your course load not as just finding easy classes, but as strategically managing your energy throughout the semester. It's all connected.
So, you've got the playbook, but there's one last crucial piece of this puzzle we need to talk about, and that's perspective. Improving your GPA is a marathon, not a sprint. You have to set realistic expectations.
And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. Having one really strong semester is awesome. It'll kickstart your momentum, it's going to build your confidence, and it'll teach you what study habits work for you. But here's what it won't do. It's not going to magically erase a few tough semesters from the past, and it's not going to instantly double your cumulative GPA. The goal here is consistent, steady improvement over time. That's how you win.
And please, I really want you to hear this. Your GPA is a data point. It is a tool. It is not and never will be a measure of your worth as a human being. It doesn't define your creativity or your kindness or your potential to do amazing things in this world.
So, where do you start? Right here, right now. I'm serious. Take out a piece of paper, calculate your current GPA, circle the classes that need the most attention, and email your advisor to set up a meeting. But here's the most important part. Pick just 3 strategies from this playbook, any 3, and promise yourself you'll start using them this week. Taking action is everything.
Because in the end, that number, it really does tell a story. And you are the one holding the pen. So, the only question left is, what will your next chapter be?